Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to 1401, A Space Odyssey. 1401. We're into the 1400 series now, my friend. Up here, the air is pretty thin. Woo! And today we have on episode 1401 here at Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. I am your host, Mike Matthews.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's a podcast, it's daily. My name is Mike. Hi. And we got Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster, and
Mike's Daily Podcast.
A wonderful segment that I like to call Matthews News, and it has some interesting observations and views, and we also talk about things like this stuff when it becomes a real piss
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I got a little lost with these lyrics. I can't read them. They're hard to read. This paper is made out of rock.
Mike's
There we go.
Daily
Okay, that's right.
Podcast.
Transgender.
Yeah!
That's the big word today. Transgender. Oh. Greta Hausman. C-SPAN. She's wearing white. Oh, she's an angel. Hey, so what's the deal? What's the deal on Fox News at this time of the morning? Here it is at 5:23. You've got two white guys sitting on a couch, and there's always a blonde in between them, showing a lot of leg. That's a little bit on the sexist side, isn't it? But am I speaking to the average Fox viewer? Probably not. Look who just walked in. Hi, Mark. How y'all doing? It's Benita the Rodeo Queen.
That's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
I love Fox News. Oh, that's Benita's horse, Nelly.
Hi, Nelly. Look who else walked in.
Oh, my God, delicious oat beer. The Brewmaster has the root beer.
We were drinking barley wine beer, ale. So delicious beer yesterday, Brewmaster.
No, you can only drink my oat beer. I get mad. And I'll cut you.
No.
Beer.
Don't do that, Brewmaster.
What is the matter with you?
I'll do it.
Something must be wrong with you.
Here, just back up into this.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Back up into this segment. Back that bleep up into this segment, Brewmaster.
All right.
Very good. You feel comfortable?
Yeah, this is fun.
All right. I locked him up inside the podcast picture. My friend, the podcast picture today, plosives, is my wonderful dog, Basil Lebaxel. Yes. He and I had a fun walk this past weekend. We went to Foster City. Hey, you know what? I got some friends in Foster City where the grass is green and the girls are kind of pretty. And so there are some friends of mine. I never talk to them anymore. It's sad. Last time I talked to them was right on Thanksgiving. And whenever, it's weird because when I used to come to the Bay Area all the time, back in the days when I didn't live here and I'd come up and visit, I'd visit them all the time. Every trip up here, I would visit them. So I don't know what happened. That happens with friends. I've made some good friends here in this radio business that I'm back in. I'd been out of it for about 5 years, from like 2009 to 2003-ish. And when I got back in, I met some cool people. And the place that I work at full time, there's really no egos. Except for, wait a minute, hold on. Oh my God.
Oh my God, no way.
We have now, last I looked, we had 129 fans of the Mike's Daily Podcast Facebook page. But now we have 131.
Live to win till you die. Till the light that's in your eye. Live to
stop that before I get dinged.
Go!
I don't want to get dinged, and then they'll take me off of iHeartRadio, and I'll be so sad because that is where I get no listeners. But Mom, I just wanted to say thank you to those 2 new fans of the Mike's Daily Podcast page on Facebook. You're awesome, and no one can take that away from you.
That's right, Jack.
So, my point being, there is an ego here at the I'm not here at Café Anyway. There's no egos here. Everyone's cool. Wait, there's an ego right there. Hold on. Let me light this little fuse, and ego's gone. Okay. What we have at the radio station I work for somewhere, and there's an ego that people have to deal with, that they go, oh, that person is acting in a ridiculous sort of way. And you might even say this if you were the president about them.
He's a showboat. He's a grandstander.
But whatever. Cafe whatever. No, wait a minute. It's Café Anyway.
Anyway.
But we got a lot of news to get to, so anyway, Café Anyway. We'll jump on that bandwagon and head off on that train to Interesting Town. I like that name as a podcast segment name, The Train to Interesting Town. All aboard! Okay, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com has all the past podcast pictures, has the past plosives, past participles. It's got the link to Amazon, the Amazon rainforest. Click on that. The Amazon rainforest will pop up wherever you are, and you'll have to fight off the enormous bugs that are just so big, and they sound like this. The bugs, they're so big, they sound like this. Oh, God. It's the biggest bug I've ever seen. Oh, there's another one. Oh, those bugs. So be careful of those bugs when you click on the Amazon link. Or you can click on the Amazon link and buy things, because it actually connects you to the shopping mega business. The the Monopoly, whatever the exact name of it is, the hugest website ever, the biggest company ever. It's just stomping out and destroying everywhere it goes. It's a Godzilla of the world, destroying any. It's a lot of boom, pow, da 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 da. Come on and leave it up to me now. She's cute. Charlie XYZX. XYZ chromosomes and other sort of things fit into today's topic about the world of transgender. And this is an area where I get laughed at because I really don't know too much about this. I don't have any transgender friends, and I'm sad because they could educate me a little bit better. And I could ask them a bunch of questions, because that's how I find out about things, is I ask questions. So I need to read material and get educated. Unlike our president, who doesn't seem to want to be educated about this. We'll get more into that in a moment, but the Amazon. Anyway, if you want to buy anything on Amazon, go to the Mike'sDailyPodcast.com link, and that helps us out. There's also a PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way. You'll get a specialized, personalized MP3 for thee from all the Café Anyway characters at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And now, the segment called
Matthew's News.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
Lots of news today, and it all starts with Trump and the tweet that he did. Oh, I guess we should call this segment, too,
The Royal Trump Tweet Decree.
Mike is awesome.
Oh, he stepped in it. For decades leading up to President Trump's tweets yesterday announcing a ban on transgender people in the military, the businessman turned politician has approached the LGBT community on non-ideological terms. His relationship and evolving positions on the issues have been transactional, according to people who have interacted with him, focused largely on how the community might affect his interests in the moment. Only a year ago, he presented himself as a social liberal, seeking to move the Republican Party left on gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender rights. He vowed that he would do more than Democrat Hillary Clinton to protect LGBT people. He defended the rights of Caitlyn Jenner, the country's most well-known transgender advocate, to use whichever bathroom she wanted in Trump Tower. And he added Q to his discussion in the LGBTQ community in his national convention speech at the Republican National Convention to show that he was in the know. People are people to me, and everyone should be protected, he said to the Washington Post. This is in May of last year. This article from the Washington Post and Robert Samuels and Jenna Johnson. But circumstances have been changing since he entered the White House. While his staff has met with the LGBT advocates and he has hired several New Yorkers who have supported LGBT rights in the past, Trump's administration has taken positions more in tune with the president's social conservative base. It has quietly rolled back protections for transgender school children. It removed information about LGBT rights from the White House website and declined to recognize LGBT Pride Month last month. His tweets yesterday delivered yet another victory to the political right, including many House Republicans who support he needs for his policy agenda, while surprising many Republican LGBT activists who had hoped he would end the culture war within the party. Those familiar with Trump say his stances aren't contradictory, but rather illustrate the consistency of his instincts to shape his views depending on the moment. The White House on Wednesday sought to portray Trump's announcement as a narrow policy matter and not a reflection of the president's personal views towards the transgender community. When asked if this means the president will also reconsider allowing transgender individuals to serve in his administration, his spokeswoman, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the daughter of Mike Huckabee, right? Right? Is that right? Somebody? Anybody here at Café Anyway? Anybody? Anybody? We're such an uneducated group here at Café Anyway. Anyway, Café Anyway. Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Anyway.
She said that the ban was a decision based on what was best for the military and military cohesion. She denied that decision was politically motivated. Well, meanwhile, Trump drew swift ire from Hollywood politicians, civilians, and journalists alike after a series of those tweets, and he took to Twitter to deliver the announcement in 3 separate tweets. He said that the U.S. government will not accept or allow transgender people to serve in any capacity in the military. Quote, our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Oh, gosh. And I heard Michael Medved making a similar argument on his show yesterday. Oh, yeah, the transgender community costs so much money. You know, they don't accept people with flat feet in the military. That's good, because flat feet people are crazy weird. They're so kooky. I can say that because I have flat feet. Kooky. And I can't get into the military. My dad had it too. Oh well.
Because you'd be in jail.
What? No! Because I have flat feet? How dare you? What kind of president is this? You would throw me in jail because I have flat feet?
Wrong.
Trump did not say what would happen to the transgender people who are already in the military. As many as 250 service members are in the process of transitioning or have been approved to transition to their preferred genders, thus making them happy human beings. I'm adding that in there. I do know someone who's transgender. It's been a long time since I've talked to her, but back in the 90s, I knew someone who transitioned, quote unquote. I don't know how to say the verbs to this area. It's not my expertise. I don't know, But yeah, so she has been very happy ever since. And as she explained to me, it was a matter of life and death. Like, if she had not done that, she, you know, it was bad. It's like she's been happy ever since the past 25 years or so. The study observed that the monetary cost of allowing transgender people to openly serve would likely be low, estimating that annually only 29 to 129 active service members would seek care, disrupting their ability to deploy. This according to the RAND Corporation, and that was a study from 2016. And it estimated there are about 1,300 to almost 7,000 transgender personnel in active duty. It's not clear how Trump will implement the plan. As of Wednesday morning, the official Department of Defense policy on transgender service members remained unchanged on its website. Finally, in this topic, demonstrators flocked to a military recruiting station in New York City and gathered at a plaza named for a San Francisco gay rights icon yesterday to protest Donald Trump's abrupt ban. A crowd of at least a few hundred people gathered around the U.S. Armed Forces recruiting station in Times Square, New York. They held signs saying resist and listened to speakers who denounced the ban. Let's see, and then also several hundred demonstrators gathered in San Francisco's Harvey Milk Plaza. They waved pink and blue flags, held signs reading "Trans lives are not a burden," and chanted "Stand up, fight back." A transgender woman who identified herself only as Layla, "You got me on my knees, Layla," told the crowd she's tired of being told who she can or cannot be, and asked for others in the LGBT community to support trans people as they fight for respect. This according to the Associated Press. Then the GOP is having their issues with the Senate health care bill. They demonstrated they didn't have the stomach to repeal Obamacare. Senate Republicans, when it was actually counted, the Senate voted 55 to 45 to reject legislation to throw out major portions of Obamacare. Several Republicans joined all Democrats in rejecting a measure by GOP Senator Rand Paul, Kentucky, that would have repealed most of former President Obama's health care law. He's extreme. He hates the whole freaking thing. He says, take it, chuck it, burn it, put a little, what do you call it, on it, and blow it up, is what he says. And I don't have a sound effect for that. Oh, yes, I do. There we go. But people were like, Rand Paul's a little kooky. So that didn't happen. See, it would have repealed most of former President Obama's health care law with a 2-year delay, but no replacement. No replacement at all. He doesn't want to replace it, just get rid of it. Congress passed nearly identical legislation in 2015 and sent it to Obama, who unsurprisingly vetoed it. Now we get to Steve Bannon, who wants to do something that when I read this, I went, what? Huh? Steve Bannon supports paying for middle-class tax cuts with a new top rate of 44% for Americans who make more than $5 million a year. It's unclear whether Trump would support the move, which would bring the top rate, currently 39.6%, to the highest level in 30 years. Trump has said he's focused on tax changes that would help the middle class, but an analysis this month of the tax outline by the White House released in April shows it would mostly benefit the top earners. The plan condensed the 7 existing individual income tax rates to 3, with a top rate of 35%. So is he helping the middle class? Is he helping us or not? Well, I do know that Angelina Jolie is single. I think. Well, I know she's not with Brad Pitt anymore. They divorced. She says it's been the hardest time and we're just kind of coming up for air, she said. She's 42 now. And hey, we're in the same decade age-wise. That's pretty cool. in which she divulged few details of the split but offered insight into the effect on her family. We're all trying to do our best to heal our family. They called it quits after 12 years together. This was last year in September. The actress admits that their marriage began to crumble while filming her latest directorial effort, First They Killed My Father, in Cambodia last year. Things got bad. Things became difficult, she says. In the interview, she also revealed that she developed Bell's palsy. I had a friend who had Bell's palsy in college. And it's where her face, like half her face just became numb. She couldn't move half her face. And it eventually got better, but the condition, says Angelina Jolie, which she has since recovered from, caused one side of her face to droop as a result of damage to facial nerves. Sometimes women and families put themselves last, she says, until it manifests itself in their own health. Very, very true. She's had a lot going on after a preventative double mastectomy, reconstructive surgery, and later her ovaries removed. She says she immediately went into menopause. And finally, we get to cheap cell phones. You know, a lot of these cell phone companies that aren't the big name ones that are kind of trying to make it in this world are trying to get you to buy these crappy bad phones. But there's a price, and that's your privacy. This according to CNET. There's one for $60 called the Blue R1 HD. It's a top-selling phone on Amazon. Researchers caught it secretly sending private data to China. Shanghai Adapts Technology, the group behind the spying software on the Blue R1 HD, called it a mistake. But analysts at CryptoWire found the software provider is still making the same quote-unquote mistake on other phones. This all coming out at the Black Hat Security Conference, which the wonderful Vince, who I've had on the show, he is there. He does a podcast called Vince in the Bay. In the latest podcast he did, which I was listening to over the weekend, it's up on iTunes and Google Play and all the places you listen to podcasts. He talks to someone who she does a total she does a sneakers. I'm trying to think of movies that have this sort of Catch Me If You Can, Ocean's 11, where she breaks into company. She's paid to break into a company to see how the security is. The company will go, check out our security. Here you go. Here's some money. Go for it. And then she'll sneak in to the company and hack into their computer. She brings a hacker along with her. And she's just this amazing young woman named, Jack Hyde. It's a fake name. It's a nom de plume. Jack Hyde, as in Jekyll and Hyde, which she says she loves that book by Robert Louis Stevenson. He wrote that, right? And so she's all about fascinating. And Vince does a great job interviewing her. He's got a very dry sense of humor, and it's a great interview. Check it out. Vince in the Bay, and he's at the Black Hat Security Conference. Anyway, this CryptoWire, a security firm, revealed that Adept software is still sending a device's data to the company's server in Shanghai without alerting people, but now it's being more secretive about it. Quote, they replaced them with nicer versions, said someone from CryptoWire. I have captured the network traffic of them using the command and control channel when they did it. As we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley, so careful of the phones you buy. Check around on the internet to make sure that the privacy is secure. Having access to the command and control channel, a communications route between your device and a server, allowed adapts to execute commands as if it's the user, meaning it could also install apps, take screenshots, record the screen, make calls, and wipe devices without needing permission. Yikes. I want to thank you for walking into the 1400 series with me. Here we go. I have brought you limited us on today's show. I am violently, passionately against us. I was listening to a podcast, To The Point, with Warren Olney. He's back. He's been off a couple weeks. And when he's off, he has this guy with a thick Armenian accent on, who I've grown to like. Because Warren is getting up there, and at some point he's going to retire. And I'm sad about that, because he is so good at talking to several people at the same time that are experts. He gets total experts on his show, and they'll discuss topics, and he's good at cutting people off when they're boring or asking the right question to make them more interesting. But he was talking to the mayor of Laredo after that horrible thing that happened there, when the people were trying to cross the border illegally, and they died in the back of this truck. It was hot, and it was just horrible. The mayor of Laredo was talking about it, and every other word was and he was talking so slow, and I was just, Warren, please cut him off. But yeah, there you go. That was sort of a whirlwind, wasn't it, that podcast? Next show, we'll have Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. I learned a lot on today's show. Didn't you? No? No.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!